Hey guys, trigger warning. This is going to be a Scientology video. So if that's going to be triggering to anybody, go ahead and click off of this because this is going to contain my opinions on this religion, and if that's going to be offensive or triggering to anybody, you might want to go ahead and click off this video and go ahead and watch my other content on my channel, which is more beauty related and non-offensive. For those of you that stay, this is going to be my third time filming this one episode. The first time I didn't have my mic on. The second time I accidentally deleted it, so this is my third time. If this doesn't work, I'm going to go ahead and say that my camera is Scientology Pro and we're going to have an issue. Anyway guys, so this is going to be Scientology from a Scientologist perspective, which is, of course, a series on my channel that I started on my own, delving into Scientology outside of Leah Remini's special on A&E. So this goes onto Scientology's website itself and into Scientology material that's freely available to people without me spending my hard-earned money on the material itself. So let's get into today's episode, shall we? So today's episode, I'm going to start off with, is it all based on one man's work? Although Dianetics and Scientology were founded by L. Ron Hubbard, and all the scriptures are solely comprised of his writings and recorded lectures, he nonetheless wrote, "Acknowledgement is made to 50,000 years of thinking men without words, speculations, and observations. The creation and construction of Dianetics would not have been possible. Credit in particular is due to," and he lists several people that I'm not going to go into because it's ridiculous and retarded. I mean, he lists people like Descartes, Socrates, Aristotle, Sigmund Freud, Isaac Newton, and several others that were significant in their own ways to several other different fields. So he's trying to say that their work helped him in his path. No, what you're trying to say is that you ripped off a lot of their ideas. Moving on. And we've covered a lot of this other material. We covered that. Oh, we totally debunked that. And we totally debunked all that bullshit. We already talked about how that arc triangle is full of shit. And we talked about that. We've talked about a lot of this. Okay, so let's talk about what is the bridge in Scientology. This is a gem. Many higher states of existence are available to man, and these are attainable through Scientology. L. Ron Hubbard provided a precise delineation of these states, and then clarified how they could be attained by arranging them on a chart which graphically showed each step of the route upward. Okay, so that sounds more like a ladder than a bridge, because if you're going up, that sounds more like a ladder than a bridge, because the bridge kind of goes across, and you're talking about a route upward. That sounds more like a ladder. Anyway, I digress. The chart that shows the gradations to spiritual betterment is called the Classification, Gradation, and Awareness Chart. Classification refers to the training in Scientology and the fact that certain actions are required or skills attained before an individual is classified as an auditor at any particular level and allowed onto the next class. Gradation refers to the gradual improvement spiritually that occurs in Scientology auditing. Man, in his religious tradition, has long imagined a bridge across a chasm between where one is now and a higher plateau of existence. Okay. Now, there's one religious song, like an old hymn, where I've heard like "Bridge Over Troubled Waters," but it wasn't like a bridge over chasm. I've heard of stairway to heaven, heard highway to hell, the river Styx with the boatmen, but I've never heard a bridge over a chasm ever mentioned in any kind of religious situation. Now, if I'm wrong, let me know, but the only bridge I've ever heard is like an old Baptist hymnal, bridge over troubled waters. But that's about it. Anyway, I digress. Unfortunately, many of those attempting to cross the chasm fell into the abyss. Employing this metaphor, the classification, gradation, and awareness chart represents, in fact, the bridge which spans the chasm and brings one to the higher plateau. This is the vision man has cherished for at least 10,000 years. Again, stairway to heaven, highway to hell, the river Styx with the boatmen, even stretching it, a bridge over troubled waters, but never a bridge over a chasm. But definitely nothing over 10,000 years. Just saying. Just saying. And it is now attainable by following the steps as laid out on the chart. The chart is a guide for the individual from the first awareness of Scientology to each higher state. Man has never before had such a map. It is the bridge to total freedom. It is the route, it is exact, has a standard progression, one walks it and one becomes free. Free of what? Now this next section, I'm going to go ahead and forewarn you, is going to piss me off, because it has pissed me off every time I have filmed this, and it's going to continue to piss me off. So I'm going to go ahead and plug up my camera. I'm just going to keep filming this. Y'all are going to hear me plug up my camera, because this is fixing to piss me off. I know it's fixing to piss me off. It's probably going to piss you off too. So y'all just keep thinking about this bridge over a chasm while I plug y'all in and we all get ready to get pissed off together. Okay. Now we're all plugged in. We're not going to die in the middle of this, and we're going to get pissed off together. What does Scientology say about raising children? L. Ron Hubbard has written a great deal about raising children. Oh, I'm sure he did. The childless. Here we go. Here we go. In Scientology, children are recognized as spiritual beings occupying young bodies. This does not make them any less of a person, and they should be given all the love and respect granted adults. Let me read that again. This does not make them any less a person, and they should be given all the love and respect granted adults. Negative, they are children. That's opening the door for pedophiles. You have just opened the door and let pedophiles walk right in. You're opening the door for abuse for children. And Leah Remini Special has stated that several times over again, that there are abuses in this system. You've just stated right there that there are abuses in this system. Let's read further, shall we? Scientologists also believe children should be encouraged to contribute to family life and not just be seen and not heard. As the old saying goes, most children raised in good Scientology homes are above average in ability and quickly begin to understand how and why people act as they do. Life thus becomes a lot happier and safer for them. Negative. You said that they are spiritual beings in young bodies. No, they're not. They're kids. They do not understand the world as it is. They need to be taught. They need to be loved as children, not as adults. They need to be guided in the ways of the world. They need to be guided as children, not as adults in little bodies. You've just opened the door for pedophiles to come in and be like, but they're adults in little bodies, so it's okay that I have sex with this child. No, it's not. You've just opened the door for children to be abused. That is ridiculous. That is sick. And that is the reason why there are so many abuses. There is physical abuse, there is mental abuse, there's emotional abuse, and there is most definitely sexual abuse going on in this religion. And for L. Ron Hubbard himself, you're allowing this to happen to children. Okay, let's move on to a lighter topic before my brain explodes first thing in the morning. Can one make up his own mind about Scientology? Why don't we dive into that shit show? One can indeed, and one should. Scientology enables a person to think for themselves. There is no purpose served in practicing or studying Scientology because someone else wants one to. But if a person has taken a good look at life and decided they want to make things better, the best thing is to start and find out for oneself what Scientology can do. One should read one of the beginning books by L. Ron Hubbard, and beginning books is hyperlinked. So let's look at this. So it takes you to the bookstore, and the beginning books package, which includes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 books. So beginning books package includes 10 books. Anybody want to take a guess at how much that would cost you? Well, I'll go ahead and tell you so you don't have to sit in suspense. Will cost you $205. So let me tell you what you get for $205. You get the beginning books package, which is Dianetics, the original thesis, Dianetics, the evolution of science, Dianetics, the modern science of mental health. You get self-analysis, handbook for pre-clear, Scientology, the fundamentals of thought, the problems of work, Scientology, a new slant of life, the way of happiness, and the clear body, clear mind. Sounds like you get a bunch of bullshit for $205 fucking dollars. Okay, so $205 just to make up your mind whether Scientology is for you or not. Okay. Then they go into this. Does Scientology have doctrines concerning heaven or hell? I'm not going to even go into this section because it's a long section, and it pretty much does a complete circular argument where they don't really say anything or not. All they say is Scientologists go about their life trying to do something because whatever they do in this life affects where they start their next life at. And so it doesn't really say if they believe in a heaven or hell, because whatever they do in this life affects their next lifetime. And they never really get to a point on where the end is because they don't have a point. But they have a hyperlink for a book called Scientology, the Fundamentals of Thought. So, this is kind of funny. And when I say kind of funny, I mean it's kind of hilarious. Because when you click on the hyperlink, it takes you to the book. And the little blurb about the book is hilarious to me, because the way they write these little blurbs about the book is like, they make you want to buy the book so bad, right? Well, they make the book sound like the end-all be-all. Well, if that's the end-all be-all, then why do I need this next book, right? So, Scientology, the Fundamentals of Thought. The basic book of the theory and practice of Scientology for beginners. Well, then why did I need that 10-book series that I just read about, right? Designated by L. Ron Hubbard as the Book 1 of Scientology, after having fully unified and codified the subjects of Dianetics and Scientology, came to the refinement of their fundamentals, originally published as a resume for Scientology for use in translations to the non-English tongues. The book is of inestimable, this is the word that they use, value to both the beginner and advanced students of the mind, spirit, and life. Equipped with the book alone, one can begin a practice and perform seeming miracle changes in the states of well-being, ability, and intelligence of people contained within the conditions of existence. 8 dynamics, which we've already called bullshit on, arc triangle, which we've called bullshit on, parts of man, the full analysis of life as a game. You mean the game of life that they sell at Walmart? And more, including exact processes for individual application of the practices of the principles in processing. Here, then, in one book, is the starting point for beginning Scientology to people everywhere. And you can buy it at the low price of $20, or you can get it in audio CD for $25 or hardback for $30. It's just amazing to me. Like, they make it sound like the most amazing thing ever. But when you start to read about these things individually, like, how can anybody fall for this shit? Now, let's get into the meat of this episode, shall we? What does suppressive person mean? And this is what cracks me up, because they put suppressive person in quotation marks. Like, suppressive person. Like, you don't use this in your everyday terminology. And this really gets under my skin. A suppressive person, or an SP, is a person who seeks to suppress other people in their vicinity. A suppressive person will goof up or vilify any effort to help anybody, and particularly knife with violence anything calculated to make human beings more powerful or more intelligent. A suppressive person is also known as the antisocial personality. Within the category, one finds Napoleon, Hitler, the unrepentant killer, and the drug lord. Now, I want to stop right there. Within the category, one finds Napoleon, Hitler, the unrepentant killer, and the drug lord. So say you have a mother of like 3 kids, grandmother of say 6, who has decided that she no longer wants to be a Scientologist because she has called you out on your bullshit, and she leaves your organization, and you have marked her as a suppressive person. You're putting her in the category of Napoleon, Hitler, an unrepentant killer, and a drug lord. Let's talk about some other suppressive people, shall we? You have Leah Remini as a suppressive person. Mike Rinder as a suppressive person. Mark and Claire Henley as suppressive people. You're putting them in the same category as Napoleon, Hitler, an unrepentant killer, and a drug lord. Let that sink in for a second. Some of the people, not some, all of the people that you have seen on the A&E special have been marked as suppressive people. They're in the same category as Hitler. And just to break it down for you, an unrepentant killer, they're in the same category as Ted Bundy, Jeffrey Dahmer. Ring a bell? Ring a bell. Think about that for a minute. This religion is putting people in the same category as serial killers. The BTK killer is an unrepentant killer. And you're putting people that are parents, grandparents in that same category. Bravo. Bravo freaking O. I'm going to move on from that. But if such are easily spotted, if one from the bodies they leave in their wake, antisocial personalities also commonly exist in current life and often go undetected. The basic reason the suppressive person behaves as he or she does lies in the hidden terror of others. To such a person, every other being is an enemy to be covertly or overtly destroyed. The fixation is that survival itself depends on keeping others down or keeping people ignorant. That actually kind of sounds like Scientology right there. Let's not educate our people. Let's not let them have any contact with the outside world. Let's not have them read a newspaper or get on the internet. Let's keep them down. Let's keep them ignorant. That way they don't realize the bullshit that we are pulling on them. Let's keep them poor so they don't realize the bullshit that we're pulling on them. Let's keep shoving down new updated books from a man that's long since dead, so he's not saying anything new. That kind of sounds like you, Scientology. That doesn't sound like the people that you are marking as suppressive. That sounds like you. If anyone were to promise to make others stronger or brighter, the suppressive person would suffer the utmost agony. Again, that sounds like you. As soon as somebody finds out information and tries to bring it to the group, you immediately want to charge them with crimes and bring them in for auditing in these long, horrendous sessions, or you want to throw them into the hole at Gold Base and bury them so that nobody ever knows what they have found out. That sounds like you. But I digress. Because of this, the suppressive person seeks to upset, continuously undermine, spread bad news about, and degenerate betterment activities and groups. Thus, the antisocial personality is also against what Scientology is about, helping people become more able. Oh, I wish I could read today. Helping people become more able and improving conditions in society. Okay. Help me. Help me help you. What are you doing? What are you doing? Help me help you. What are you doing? You're building these grand buildings, these huge ideal orgs that are standing empty. You're raking in all of this money from all your parishioners to do what? Somebody. In the back. Anybody. Somebody help me here. Somebody. Anybody. Anybody in the back. Anybody. Okay. Nobody has a freaking clue what you're doing. Okay. So, As anyone can think of many examples of a suppressive person, this concept is not limited to Scientology. However, when such a person is connected to Scientology for the good of the church and the individuals in it, such a person is officially labeled as a suppressive person so that others will know not to associate with them. Okay. To be declared as a suppressive person is extremely rare. Oh, really? Since when? Because all I see is, like, y'all have a big rubber stamp. Like, suppressive, 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 suppressive. Like, somebody goes, I don't understand, and boom, suppressive. Like, it's easier to get marked suppressive than it is to get marked clear in Scientology. Like, I don't understand this. And results in expulsion from Scientology religion. That occurs in instances of serious offenses against Scientology faith, and can also occur when the individual is found to be actively working to suppress the well-being of others. Oh, really? Or if they got a question, or if they want clarification, or if they don't understand what the fuck you're doing, or if they see the bullshit. As soon as that veil comes off and the truth comes out, they're suppressive. Let's see here. This can be done through criminal acts already recognized by society as unlawful, or through the commitment of acts deemed suppressive acts in the Scientology Justice Code, which includes the suppressive act of publicly renouncing the faith, an act which in Scientology, as well as in almost every religion, is grounds for automatic expulsion. Okay, look, I was raised Southern Baptist most of my life, okay? I turned 18 and was like, okay? I could still walk into any Southern Baptist church on the face of the planet and they're not going to be like, no, you're a suppressive person, get out. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way in any other religion that I know of, okay? I don't know another religion in the United States where they're like, no, you're a suppressive person. We saw you talking shit about Baptists. We saw you talking shit about Catholics. We saw you talking shit about Jews. No, I don't know that about any other religion. Now, maybe some Muslim faiths. I don't know that much about Muslim faiths. I can't say that. But I don't know any other religion in the United States where you get expelled out of the church. I don't know that. Sorry, just Scientology, pretty much. Boom. That's it. Okay, the condition lasts until they have been restored to good standing. Okay, let's talk about this. Where the fuck are your justice codes? And what church has a justice code? 2, how the hell can you be put back in good standing if you're a suppressive person and can't talk to anybody? 3, why the fuck would you want to be talking to anybody and be put back in good standing if they say, no, fuck you, get out? Once the person has been restored to good standing, the prohibition against fellowship with other Scientologists is lifted. Similar practices have been part of religious communities for thousands of years and have been recognized by courts of law as a fundamental right. Again, I want to see a court case in which that is upheld. I want a legal court case cited. Show me a legal court case cited in which that is ever upheld. Especially because you're paying money. You're shelling out your hard-earned cash. If I'm shelling out my hard-earned cash, if I'm giving you hundreds of thousands of dollars or millions of dollars in some of these cases, nah, bitch. I paid you. I got a paid membership. Either you let me in or you give me back my moolah. It don't work this way, darling. So, I want to see their court case in which they can prove that. Anyway, other than that, I think they're full of bullshit. Like I said, I don't know any other church that works that way. Like I said, I was raised Southern Baptist most of my life, and I can still to this day walk into any Southern Baptist church and I would be welcomed with open arms. And not like I'm actually gonna do that, but I could if I wanted to. Now, let's move on to what is disconnection while I'm getting hot and bothered with the bullshit they're spewing. A Scientologist can have trouble making spiritual progress in his auditing or training if he has connected to someone who is suppressive or who is antagonistic to Scientology or its tenets. All spiritual advancement gained in Scientology may well be lost because one is continually invalidated by an antagonistic person who wants nothing more than to do harm to the person. In order to resolve this situation, one either handles the other person's antagonism. Oh, I'd love to see how you handle someone's antagonism. With true data about Scientology and the church, or as a last resort, when all attempts to handle have failed, one disconnects from or stops communicating with the person. Okay, one, handle me. Please come handle my antagonism. Please, I beg you, come handle this. Okay. As defined by L. Ron Hubbard, here we go with the direct quotations. The term handle most commonly means to smooth out the situation with another person by applying the technology of communication. So communication is now a technology. Oh, we're all proper. The term disconnection is defined as a self-determined decision made by an individual that he is not going to be connected to another. Oh, really? That's the fucking definition, you jackass. It is not that hard. Disconnection means, dude, fuck off. I'm not talking to you anymore. What it means in this instance is the church pressures you. Either you handle that situation, you get them on board, you get them to be a paying member of Scientology, or you cannot talk to them anymore. Or you are going to be labeled as a suppressive person and you're going to be fucking kicked out. That's what this whole thing means. Okay, hold on. I just lost my mind for a second. It is a severing of the communication line. No, duh. In the old days with the cord phone, it was like the slamming of the phone. Nowadays, it's like the click of the button on the phone. You just stop talking to the person. We get it. You don't have to go into all of this BS crap. What you're pretty much saying is if they're not a member of Scientology, you can't have any connection with them. Just come out and say it. Stop trying to sugarcoat it. The basic principle of handle or disconnect exists in any group, and ours is no different. Bull crap. I have friends that are in church. I am a Wiccan. We still talk. They understand my principles. I understand theirs. We respectfully don't talk about religion because it's the hot button issue. They understand I don't believe that way. I don't want them pushing their beliefs on me. I don't push my beliefs on them. It's the way of the world. Not everybody has to believe the same way. That is how the world works. It is much like trying to deal with a criminal. If he will not handle this is going to be classic right here. If he will not handle the society the society resorts to the only other solution. It disconnects the criminal from the society. In other words, they remove the guy from society and put him in a prison because he won't handle his problem or otherwise cease to commit criminal acts against others. No. L. Ron Hubbard may have been a brilliant man. I don't know. But right there, he's a fucking moron. What a criminal does is he commits a crime and then he gets a punishment. So he is removed from society where he has freedoms, and he is stripped of those freedoms and put in a prison where he is punished for his crime. And then when he has finished his prison sentence and he is deemed to be able to rejoin society, he is let out of the prison and he's put back in society where he is given back his freedoms. That is not a disconnection. That is a fucking punishment. Those are two separate things. A person who disconnects is simply exercising their right to communicate or not to communicate with a particular person. This is one of the most fundamental rights of man, for as Mr. Hubbard pointed out, oh, here we go again, if one has the right to communicate, then one must also have the right not to receive communication from another. It is this latter corollary of the right to communicate that gives us our right to privacy. Oh, well. Also, we also have a right to choose who we communicate with. That is our right. We also have a right of the groups that we pick. And our groups shouldn't have any say over who we communicate with. There is no Scientology disconnection policy that requires church members to disconnect from anyone, let alone family or friends who simply have different beliefs. To the contrary, the moral code of Scientology mandates that Scientologists respect the religious beliefs of others. The church encourages excellent family relationships, Scientologist or not, and family relations routinely improve with Scientology because the Scientologist learns how to increase communication and resolve any problems that may have previously existed. Bullshit. Anyway, Scientology disconnection has a hyperlink. So, let's click it. Oh, what do you know? Let's see if it'll pick up on camera. Come on. The site is down. Look at that. Let's see. Okay, so it'll let me pull up what I just read, but the part where it says Scientology disconnection, like the policy part, that part of the website is down. Look at that. Even your bullshit can't handle it. Okay, guys. So, I think my brain has handled enough for today. So, the next time I shoot one of these, we're going to start off with, do Scientologists use medical doctors? That should be fun. Anyway, all of my social media will be down in the description box down below. Also, leave me any comments, either in the comment section down below or on any of my social media. If y'all have any information on any of the topics we covered today, or any future topics you want me to cover in this series, leave them in the comment section or on any of my social media. I really want to do like a deep dive on this, guys. Like, I'm really passionate about this. I've been gathering information on L. Ron Hubbard himself and on Scientology on several topics. Like, I've been really delving into this. So guys, if you have any information, throw it at your girl. I'm really delving into this. Just bring it to me. I will go in any direction you guys want to go into. So let me know what you want to see. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe and ring that bell, because these episodes are not on a scheduled basis, so I don't know when I'm going to upload the next one. So ring that bell so you're aware of the next time I upload, and I will see you guys on the next one. Bye guys.